Welcome to Video Bites. Our goal is to acknowledge, appreciate, and showcase the talents of teachers and staff in the form of bite-sized videos. Thanks for watching.
Hello everybody and welcome to Video Bites. Today I'm interviewing the teachers of our Capstone Math program. We have Mr. Thompson, who teaches post-AP in Capstone multivariable calculus and and differential equations. Mr. Thompson also teaches 6th grade physics. He has a BS in physics from Kansas State University, and he is ranking top 200 in the game Rivals of Aether. Am I pronouncing that? Rivals of Aether? Or is it Ether?
Ether.
Ether? Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, Mr. Thompson. And then we have Mr. Madler, who is teaching history of math and applied math. It's the second year at basis. He has a Master's of Applied Math from ASU and a Master's of Secondary Education at NAU. He likes hiking, camping, and backpacking. Thanks for being with us, Mr. Madler. And we have Ms. Park, who teaches Calculus AB and Post-AP/Capstone Discrete Math. She has an MS in Math Education from NAU, a BS in Mathematics from NAU, and a Bachelor's in Music and Piano Performance from NAU. And she has 2 cats, 2 instruments, knows 2 languages, and has 2 degrees. So 2 is a very special number. Thank you for being here, Ms. Park. And thank you all for agreeing to be part of Video Bites. So the first question I have is, can you just explain your Capstone Post-AP course? What's it about? Just give a brief overview of what we learn.
Yes, so I'm teaching multivariable calculus and differential equations as a capstone. So it's exactly what it says on the tin if you know how to interpret it. So basically, we're taking the skills that you learn in calculus, integration and differentiation, and then generalizing to 3 dimensions. So we're saying we're not just learning how to differentiate at a point on a line, but at a point on a surface. And we're not just learning how to integrate a line to find the area under the curve. We can integrate to find volumes. So it's basically like an expansion of what you learned in the previous calculus courses. And for that reason, I think it's a lot of fun. It's pretty interesting. But so that's like half of it, and the other half is differential equations. Differential equations being all about comparative rates of change. That's toward the later part of the year, and while we haven't gotten to that aspect of it yet, I think that the class seems to have a pretty strong general enthusiasm for it. So that's a quick overview of my course.
Hey, thank you.
There's history of mathematics, which basically will now take what you've already been learning, but then see the development of those ideas, the historical way. And in doing so, we actually get to see different ways of thinking about mathematics. And so different cultures, different places have thought about mathematics differently. And then we could see that. Perhaps we could see the geometric approach of the ancient Greeks, or a more practical approach of the ancient Egyptians. And so in this way, we kind of understand better all of the things that you already learned so well in the techniques that you had mastered at an earlier time. So that's with history of mathematics. There's also the possibility of exploring and looking at applied mathematics, which again, we have a lot of skills that we have, but now is to kind of see how mathematics is really embedded in the real world. And so we can kind of look at so many of the different fields of mathematics and start to explore that. Wow, we've done stuff with partial differentiation. Now we can start to apply those models to biology. And so we can look at predator-prey models. Maybe we could also look to see, how does disease spread? And so the SIR model, if we think of the COVID, we can see how that spreads by doing sort of these compartmental differential equation models. We can look at things statistically. We can look at things in other ways, like creating graphs or networks. And in this class, we then will start to try to see the real world and different filters that we can use in mathematics, and partly then to see how rich and varied mathematics really truly is.
Hey, thank you for that description of applied and history of math, Mr. Madler.
The discrete mathematics is mostly deals with the numbers, distinct numbers or distinct mathematical concepts. So we talk about a lot of theories, set theory, graph theories, and we do also talk about logics that you guys probably learn in younger grades. So basically, we do learn theorems and then prove a lot of theorems. And also, I give my students logic puzzles or sometimes number puzzles, so they can think outside of the box. Some of them is super hard. Like today, I gave kind of hard questions,
Yeah.
but it's still fun. Yeah, so it's gonna be really challenging, but I give a lot of support if I can. Yeah.
And then the next question is, what inspired you to teach math? Like, why are you teaching math right now? What's your interest in math?
So I had a TA when I was in graduate school. I was teaching one course, like freshman course, basic math class, and there were some problems like 2 + 2, and then one of the girls, she just bring out the calculator and then literally punch 2 + 2. I was very, confused. I talked to her, very nicely. Hey, do you really need the calculator for, compute 2 + 2? And she's like, she always has been anxiety with math class, so she feels really uncomfortable without doing math. She's really uncomfortable doing math without a calculator. So I'm like, oh, okay. So why do you think, like you do have anxiety when you're doing math? And then she's like, she never had a good teacher. And then that literally hurt my feeling. And then she told me that whenever she does math, she gets pressure, and then always bad grades. So that moment made me think, okay, so I want to teach younger kids, not just college kids. So make sure that math is doable and fun subject, not necessarily, doing higher computation or anything, but just concept of math, doing math is not that scary. So I guess that's, where I chose to be a teacher.
So I actually expect to ever be a math teacher. It's something I just kind of fell into doing when I started working with Basis, where I got started teaching 5th grade last year. Just like teaching in general, though, when I was in college, I knew I wanted the physics degree, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. So I was spending a lot of time just kind of thinking like, oh, I don't know if I would really like a job in industry. I'm not really super big on programming, that kind of stuff. But then, through like research and working with as a TA in classes, I started to realize, oh, I actually like just, helping other people learn. So that's when I realized that teaching is probably what I should go into. So that's the kind of career I looked for, and I haven't done anything else since. So that's how I came to be here.
All right.
Nice.
So now I'll piggyback a little bit on Mr. Thompson there, which is that, so basically like the route to teaching is that I love learning, but I also love interacting with people. I love ideas, and to be part of that process, to be able to talk about and get people excited about things and see different ways, it's really pretty phenomenal. And so so that I have in some ways always been part of kind of teaching, whether I was maybe in high school and in college, I was a math tutor. But then for mathematics, I've always loved mathematics, but then I kind of moved away from it. Like I went into the social sciences, but then I decided to come back to it. And so then I got a master's in applied math, but a lot of what I was doing was trying to model things in the social sciences. And so then I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'd rather not work in a bank and just push numbers and try to figure out profits for someone else. I really love the ideas. And so then I was like, well, yep, I'm going to go back to teaching. And then I was like, I've got this math degree. Now maybe I'll try to mix all these things together. And so that's almost for me in some ways where it's like these classes like history and mathematics or applied mathematics. Oh, this is great. I get math and I get real world stuff. And I love that, how that, bumps into each other, the colliding. And then if I can be part of that learning process, then that is fantastic.
Hey, thank you. And then the last question is, do you guys have any like funny moments while teaching, or like any pranks played on you or you played on other people while like when you're teaching or TAing or anything like that?
2 years ago, April Fools, my senior students, they put the newspapers on my car, literally everywhere. I didn't know until end of the day because I had 5 classes in a row and of tutoring, and then like 5 in the afternoon. I'm like, oh my god, where's my car? But there was it with the newspaper wrapped around.
So they cover the whole car with newspapers.
Yeah. Yes.
Amazing.
I forget the exact set what happened because anyway, all of the power was out at school, and it seemed like it was also maybe a full lockdown. I don't remember exactly what the situation was, but then but there was this weird spotlight right in the front of the classroom. Like the security lamp was like the stand-up comic, spotlight. So then I was like, oh, well, rather than get everyone like worried or whatever's kind of going, I'm just gonna go and start into a stand-up routine. And part of it is that one of my good friends, he quit being a history teacher to become a stand-up comic. So I was like, you know what? No one knows Mr. Freiler's or Herr Freiler's material. And since I'd seen him like 12 times, I just basically stole his whole monologue for the 30 minutes, and then, I shouldn't have allowed people to be texting, but it was dark, so I couldn't really see. Suddenly, more and more students started coming into my classroom. So it started off with like, it was a bigger public school, right? So I started off with like 32 students, but by the end there was like 60 students in there, you know. And then when the lights turned on, then I was like, well, I guess that's it. And they all were like, woo! And I was like, okay, thank you, I'm here all week. But but it was also like, it wasn't my material, but it was kind of nice to be able to go like, oh, and I'd seen his evolution of jokes, how he paused for things and actually spoken to him over the years. And so I was like, oh, yeah, this is really good. And so that's my little comic moment where it was like, okay, I was a stand-up comic, because of these circumstances, which shows partly for teaching, you have to be ready for anything, right?
That's really something.
Since I don't have nearly as teaching experience, I haven't had quite as much time for this kind of situation to present itself to me. So I've never been a stand-up comic on the job. So like, I don't know if I have any kind of like, funny prank or whatever, but something that I really appreciated is one of my students previously, he he found out that I like anime, and so on the last day of the school year, he gave me a Naruto headband for a commemoration item, and I still got it. It's pretty. I was like, all right, it's nice that I connected with somebody, whether or not we communicated any math ideas successfully, who's to say? But at least this mutual understanding.
I trust
maybe
that
this year with your longer hair, you can use it, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. I could be a ninja of the Hidden Leaf Village.
Yeah.
I mean, Halloween's coming up, so I mean.
I'm not sure I'm svelte enough to be any of the Naruto ninjas, but maybe I could put together a passable, like, might guy.
Thank you all again for being part of Video Bites, sharing all your stories and talks. And hey, if anyone wants to join the Capstone courses next year or the years following, here are the courses, and good luck. Thank you again, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Have a good day.
To watch more content like this, check out videobytes.org.